No, I got you. It takes a lot though.
What ethnicity are you?
Korean.
Come on, Cho.
Well, I was gonna show him this and be like, "What did you think of this?"
Even if it was Korean, I couldn't read it. I'm horrible.
No, nobody can read that one. Welcome back to another episode of Careful Boys. We have with us Lieutenant Aram Choe.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so our boy Subin over here is in the middle of testing to be a cop.
Can I ask a question right before that? Because no. I think this is gonna be helpful. This is gonna be helpful. Okay, so we hear sergeant, lieutenant, private, all these things, right?
Yeah.
In the police department, what are those rankings so we know the importance of this man?
That's a good question. Yeah.
See? So I'm good at questions, dude. Shut up.
So we're like mid-managers. Lieutenants are mid-managers, right?
managers.
So like I have 2 ranks above me. I have captain and then chief.
The captain, I tell you what, he's bucking your balls.
So what's the private or the beginner?
But so that's if there's only 2 other ranks higher than you, you're highest then.
Yeah. It's pretty up there.
It starts with officer.
Yeah, so
Sergeant?
at the basic level, you're a recruit, right? Because you got to get through the academy.
Oh, yeah.
And once you get out of the academy, you're an officer.
Officer.
And then some departments have a senior officer.
Senior.
Some agencies call it a corporal. Or
2 stripes, right?
Yeah, 2 stripes. And then at most agencies, to be a field training officer, you got to be a corporal. And then there are other insignias, like at my department, if you're a detective, you wear 2 stripes and a diamond, right? Because being a detective is an accomplishment too, right? And to elevate to someone at my level, you have to have a good foundation, a good patrol foundation, and a good detective foundation. And I did both. And that's eventually someone that can be at my level that can oversee. Because my current job is watch commander, so I command a watch. So we have 3 patrol teams, we have gangs, narco, detectives.
Is commanding a watch meaning like you have different groups that are under your watch?
So I basically oversee. So like today, it's a Friday, so we don't have our chiefs and captains. So I have overall command of the whole department on days like today.
But you're doing it offsite at JK News.
You're a JK.
Yeah. I got no rank here. You guys are the OGs.
But like if something happens, you pick it up and you're like.
No, when I got off work, the other watch commander came on. So we have multiple lieutenants. There's 6 lieutenants in my agency, and so we all work different functions.
Okay. So in a boba shop, you guys would be the store managers.
Yes.
I see.
Yeah, no boba for you. No boba for you. Yeah.
Okay, so without helping Subin, don't help him phrase his questions correctly.
Okay.
We're gonna have Subin ask Aram
He wants to be a
everything he needs to know right now, whatever curiosities you have about becoming a cop. I know you're in the middle of almost like testing for this thing.
No, yeah, I'm on Facebook.
He would have been your boss too, because he's like the guy that's like the store manager.
Yeah, that's, whatever, man. Tell me what to do.
So let's let.
Wait, what part of the process are you in?
They say I'm on phase 2, which is just a multiple test.
Okay, so let's let Subin ask all the. If it's a dumb question, just ask it. You'll get your answer right now.
All right, first question. Yeah. So usually, like I said, background test, right? They're mostly based off of record, criminal history, etc., right? Is that correct? And they would start checking social media now, you said? Right? What do they usually check? Am I saying it wrong?
Is he failing the test?
Don't help him.
No.
Don't help him.
This is a test? It's questions.
It's a legit.
You have to pass a grammar test?
You have to pass a grammar test. Yeah. There's a written component and there's a physical agility component.
Written?
Yeah. Because you got to write reports. 75% of your job is writing a bulletproof.
Right, like you said earlier.
Yeah, you got to write a report that a defense attorney is gonna tear apart. So that's why there's filtering processes. Once you write your report, it gets approved by a sergeant, and then it gets approved by like a detective, supervisor. It goes through a couple sets of eyes before it even hits filing.
Maybe you should be a baker.
But with that said, like you don't have to be an English major to do that. You learn all that stuff in the academy, and a lot of it's just templated, right? You handle one burglary, it's like handling another burglary. You just change the names, dates, stuff like that, right?
You could use legal zoom.
Yeah, so you can get good at, and with now the advantage that you guys have, any new officers have today is that you have AI technology. You can run something through Grammarly, and it'll clean it up for you.
I have Grammarly. You could use my account.
So, wow. Okay.
Great
No,
question,
but-
Subin. Thank you.
He's got police all over him, right?
Yeah. So, but then this, I noticed this LAPD, the seven steps. They don't make you do any written essays or any of that. It was just multiple tests.
You'll get there. Yeah, they want to. So there's a lot of filtering. So before you even do a written at some agencies, they want to see if you have the physical aptitude, if you have the background. So you'll do a pre-investigative questionnaire just to see if we can even get you there, because there's a lot of money that goes into hiring a police officer. When I was going through, the estimation was $250,000 it takes to hire an officer.
What?
Yeah, I heard.
And that means you're spending half of that sometimes when you don't even hire them?
Yeah.
Whoa!
So that's why before we even get to that, because administering a written test is done in, they have proctors that do it, and we have to pay for the proctors that do it. They have to be independent of the police department.
They could pay me 50. I'll do all that shit.
I'll do Proctor.
I'll do all of it.
So this is a stupid question, but what is the physical aptitude? Like, what's the agility stuff? That you
So
gotta
it
do?
varies, but in California, it's basically this. You got to meet the California state requirement. So you have to do a minimum amount of push-ups within a minute. You used to have to do pull-ups. When I was going through, you have to do a dozen pull-ups, but that's out now. And they've lowered the They've lowered the standards a lot.
Wait, what's the push-up standard?
I think you got to be able to do 35 in a minute.
Can you do 35 in a minute?
That's easy.
Easy, dog.
I remember when me and Bart were trying to be cops, each department had a different physical test, and I read that a lot of people kept failing the 60-pound drag, or the one
160-pound demi drag.
Yeah, at the end they had to drag a fake body, right?
Yeah, because you don't think about we wear so many hats in law enforcement, and just because you chose to go police and not fire doesn't mean you're not going to be battling fires or pulling people from fires. Oftentimes we're there first because the fire department, I mean, no fault of theirs, they have to get their rig ready. Their rigs are slower. We have cars that are faster. We're already on the road, so we'll get there faster. And if you can't pull 160 pounds, which is the average weight of a human, and sometimes you'll have someone heavier than that, if you can't pull them out of the house, that's a good indication that maybe this job isn't for you, or you're not ready. I've seen 120-pound women be able to pull 200-pound men out of buildings, but they trained for that. And we unfortunately get people that are not ready. They woke up one day and say, I think I'm going to be a cop. And the work that goes into it, the preparation, they don't do. So the process has a way of filtering bad candidates out. Some squeak through, absolutely. Different agencies, like you mentioned, have different requirements. There are some cities that are slower than others. Maybe they might ignore the height weight scale or the body fat percentage because they want a warm body out there. And then there are some cities that are just rocking and rolling that if you hire that person, you just wrote their death wish for them.
Dang.
Yeah, you got to be able to, and so the city that you work, may parallel what your experience level is. There's an interesting experiment that happened in the 90s. The FBI did a Mormon recruiting program. They wanted people that were squeaky clean, because we just had Rafael Perez and all that stuff. And they recruited nothing but squeaky clean Boy Scouts. A lot of them were that were Mormon. And they found out that the criminals were running circles around them because they lacked street smarts.
They're too nice.
Yeah.
Mormons are pretty nice.
Yeah, they are some of the greatest people I know.
You can't do that.
So it was an overcorrection after the Rampart scandal.
Yeah, it was a knee-jerk reaction.
My physical therapist is Mormon, and anytime I make funny jokes, he's always like,
He's like, oh my god, you just said that for it.
See your tattoos, and he goes, oh.
He's like, I can't have caffeine. Sorry.
I'm like,
No
oh,
pulse for
when you
me.
make your wife horny or something, and he'll be like,
What else you got?
So, and I'm on to your department. What are the tattoo policies usually? I heard they changed.
Yeah, so a lot of agencies are changing. Actually, we allow full beards now too, because look,
It's kind of cool.
every nation across the country, every agency across the nation is having a hard time hiring. We're at that stage, like I mentioned earlier, in the 90s, where nobody wanted to be a cop. Well, we had a succession of situations where cops became unpopular. And if you think about it, we've always been unpopular. Any interaction you've ever had with the police, a majority of the time it's negative. Either we initiate it because we're pulling you over and we're giving you a ticket. That makes for a bad day. Or you're in the middle of a crisis and you call us, even though you're happy that we're there to help you with your crisis, you're still in one of the worst times in your lives. So it's negative. Nobody ever calls the cops to say, hey, we're having a barbecue, come on over, But we don't do this job for pats. If you wanted a pat on your back, you'd be a firefighter. Everybody loves firefighters. But we do this job for different reasons. I had my reasons growing up, and a lot of people have their, and they're all similar. So we do this job because we want to stand up against the bullies and help the people that can't help themselves. And so that's a thankless job, and we know it. But I don't know, this generation is a little different. We're finding it harder to find people that can relate to that, and there's a lot of theories as to why. people are less social in this generation than they were when we were growing up. Where all of us in this room, we had friends because we didn't have the internet, per se, and if we wanted to talk to them, you had to meet them. Well, now a lot of people's social lives are in the palm of their hands, so they have no physical interaction. So this job requires a lot of physical interaction, and it really it dissuades people from wanting to do the job. So there's massive hiring incentives. I think El Segundo is going to give you 50 grand as a signing bonus.
Whoa! Write it down, dude. What up, guys? Thank you for watching us for so long. If you like what we do, please support our Patreon. Joe, tell them what we have to offer.
So every week you get 2 videos. One never released director's cut, and another one 2 half for YouTube, Patreon only. Every freaking week you get that. And you get access to our Discord where you can come chat with us.
And ask us questions that become episodes here, because we're gonna answer them and we're gonna take it seriously, and we wanna give you the responses that you want. So come stay connected with us, join our Patreon, click the description below for full details.
But I remember those beach cities though being like really hard. Because Santa Monica, I think you had to have a bachelor's to even apply, or like there's some of them that were.
Well, we were applying to Santa Monica a long time ago before like this stuff. It was when you get hired, it was 75, and this was back then already, and then automatic 3 years jumps to 90 something.
Yeah. So what's unique about California as opposed to the rest of as soon as you leave California, cops get paid crap. They make a third of what I make, and I have a great living. I make a great life, and I'm not shy about it because our salaries are public anyway. If you're a public employee, it's all out there. But I use that as a recruiting tool, and people see I live a great life, and I didn't come from money or anything like that. I built everything that I had, and I was able to do that because I was a cop. And sure, there are inherent risks in the job, but it's a fun job too. I mean, I can't think of doing anything else. I had an opportunity to take over the video shop and work at my mom's businesses, but I didn't want to do that.
Good thing you didn't take the video shop.
Yeah, you can drive fast and shoot guns, baby.
What's the starting salary at El Monte PD?
So if you're a rookie officer and you get all the roll-ups, let's just say you have a degree, and
this guy doesn't have a degree, barely.
Let's say you got a GED.
So you'll start around about $100,000, but
you start at 100?
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
Come on, dog. I feel like when we were looking, it was 60.
Damn. Yeah, when I first started, I was excited because my starting salary was $35,000.
Well, that was 94, 96?
99, yeah.
What happens if you have a degree?
So it bumps up. So your top step as a new rookie officer in El Monte is like 127.
Bro, and that's 100 plus all the benefits.
Yeah, the benefits. I mean, insurance. Yeah, I have 4 kids and a wife, and
They take care of dependents too? Yeah. I won't be a cop. I'm quitting everything.
Why does Cali?
Let's do it together.
Why does Cali pay you guys so well if they don't even prosecute the criminal?
Because as a liberal state, they're linked in with unions, right? And unions take care of their membership. Their membership. And there are some states where it's illegal for cops to unionize, like in Georgia. Atlanta's hot, right? Illegal. And those cops have the worst pay and benefits. Damn. So it's really discouraging to want to be a cop working in that environment when you don't get taken care of. But yeah, El Monte is one of the best kept secrets in law enforcement. That's what attracted me. I left the LA County Sheriffs to go there. And when I came over with a dozen LAPD guys and sheriff guys, and they were the hot show. Back then, if you left a big agency, you either went to Anaheim, Santa Ana, or El Monte, and
because they all paid the best.
It's not just the pay, but the working conditions too. We had a great reputation. I can go anywhere up and down the state for a training class, and if I say I'm from El Monte, that's all I have to say. Everybody knows our reputation. Whereas
when you say working conditions, what does that mean?
So you get a lot more credibility as an officer when you work a city that's busy, right?
Oh, there's a lot of gang crime.
So, for instance, we had 2 lateral officers come from Arcadia to El Monte, night and day, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of these cops that lateraled over were cops for more than 5 years. They got into their first pursuit in El Monte. So people ask, how many pursuits have I been at? I lost count after 150. Wow. Whereas you can be a 20-year cop at another city and never have been in a pursuit before. Yeah. So it's high speed, right? So you come from a high-speed agency, your credibility goes through the roof, not because the reputation of the agency, but because of what you've done. Mm-hmm. Kind of like, if I can relate it to the military, being a Marine is a lot different than being in the Air Force, right? You see a lot more being an infantry on the ground than you do
in the Chair Force. Yeah, I think so.
No disrespect.
No disrespect. I disrespect.
I think everyone.
My whole family's Air Force. That's why I said it.
It's like jiu-jitsu versus karate.
Yeah. Karate's
so
way
if
better.
So if you like, so you transferred, but if you're like in his case, if he were to apply directly to Almani, where would he go to the academy at?
So we send our people to different academies. Like right now, we have a group going to Rio Hondo College. They have a pretty reputable academy, but we also had a few just graduate from San Bernardino's academy. So it used to be automatic where we sent our guys to the LA County Sheriffs because they were running class after class after class. But because everybody's struggling hiring bodies, the big academies aren't always running. And we don't want people just sitting on the shelf or saying we can't hire you until there's an academy. So we'll find an available academy, Orange County, Riverside County, San Bernardino County, LA County, and put them through that.
And they're getting paid well in the academy already? Yeah. That's awesome.
This is a good hiring video for people who are curious about being police officers because one thing I was wondering is, back then when we applied to direct departments. And then from there, you do the test, whatever, and then they send you to different academy. And then you get your start at that department, right? Okay. So that's one way, but the way you did it is you went through one of the big agencies, whether it's LAPD, SD, Sheriff's Department, and then from there, it's like you went to El Monte.
Yeah, I did 5 years at the sheriff's. They put me through the academy, and I became a deputy right away. But the thing about most sheriff's departments is you work in the custody environment. So I started my career at Men's Central Jail, and here I am, 23-year-old kid with a fresh uniform, and the inmates that are seasoned inmates, I mean, big old parolees and stuff, they can smell you. They call you fresh fish. So they call you Greene. And they know that. They call you Greene because your name strip is still green. After you wash it a few times, it gets faded. And that's how you kind of had your credibility. So I actually had some classmates
wash the crap out of it,
wear down their name strip because of that. But I learned really fast how to talk to people because I did my first year. I tried to make a name for myself, and that resulted in getting in fights all the time. And
you're fighting the inmates?
Yeah, and it happened. Men's Central Jail, of all jails too. It's one of the oldest jails, so it's not like you see in the movies where they have these electric doors and they're fully solid. These were bars, and they could pop them at any time. That's why there were so many riots that occurred there. I was in one Crip. There's many Crips Bloods riots, but I was in one of the riots, and how they got out is they all stood on their gates, the opening gates, and you could pop them by jumping on them. If you have your body weight on it, you jump it, the gates open. And so that's how those riots happen. And so I did that for 5 years, and knowing that eventually, and then when you get hired, they tell you you do 1-2 years max and you go to patrol. Because at the end of the day, we all signed up to go to patrol. We want to drive fast, get in pursuits, run and gun, and that wasn't happening for 5 years, just because there's 3 hiring freezes at the time. So, I had a big network at the time with just communicating with other cops, and I found out that El Monte was hiring, and I went on one ride along, and I got hooked.
So for jumping departments like that, do you have to retest,
Yeah,
or how does that work?
So it's different for laterals. You're already a certified cop.
Yeah.
And so you do have to take a background investigation.
You have to do another background?
Yeah, they do. I guess an abbreviated background, right? Because unless you've been in trouble or something at your agency, there's no reason to. They'll just assume that you're doing a good job. But there's still a background. We have to vet people that come over. Because there's 2 reasons why people leave. Either they're going to get in trouble, or they've done something at the old agency and they don't want to stay there, or people genuinely want to leave for better pay and benefits and working conditions. And on top of that pay, Subin, if you came in at $100,000, because we're hurting for cops, there's guaranteed overtime. So your starting pay is $100,000. You only work 3 days a week, though. So those other 4 days a week, you can work overtime, and people are doubling their salaries.
Doubling.
Yeah.
So is it like a 3-12 schedule, and that's standard?
That's pretty standard.
Can you say you don't want to work overtime?
You can, but your reputation is going to suffer. It's a team environment, right? Everybody's got to pull their weight.
Do you guys game? Because this guy games. He's looking for a client.
A lot of them do. This new generation people come from all walks of life, right? So
Get off of shift and turn the PC on.
3 days a week, baby. You'll be gaming 4 days a week, baby.
GTA.
Well, the cool thing is, if you work 5 days, that's already overtime.
Yeah,
and that's normal for most people. We work 5 days a week, at least.
Yeah, I'm a hard worker. I heard you can work a whole week and you can have a.
I'm on a 19-day stretch right now.
Also, there's no cap.
There's a cap, but
Because union don't they tell you to stop?
There's a big mental health push right now, and number one killer of cops is suicide, right? And it comes close to home to me because my dad committed suicide, and but he had different animals and demons he was fighting. But after we lost our 2 officers, we thought that was it, right? but we ended up losing about half a dozen officers after that. Not to suicide, but to mental health. They went out on stress. They were really close to them.
Like they quit or?
Yeah, I mean, they had to see psychs and everything, and just the psychs didn't clear them. Yeah, and it was hard. It was very personal.
That's stuff that you don't really think about. You just see like the memorial, and you just think it's one and done. But then there's like all this other aftermath.
Yeah, I mean, because the family is left behind, right? And
Everyone's so close, right?
yeah, I remember for about 2 years straight. I mean, we just did on June 14th the 2-year memorial, and it still stings when you're standing out there. We all do standing watches at the memorial, and everybody, not a single officer out there, wasn't out there without tears in their eyes, especially when the family's looking right at you. And their birthdays, their baseball games, we all make an effort to go and pitch in and get them birthday gifts and stuff because it sucks. They lost their dads. And you want to be there for them, but at the same time, you have to have a very short memory in this job, or else it'll kill you. Yeah. So there's a fine balance. Wow. You might appear as an asshole one day because you missed a kid's birthday, but if it's a survival mechanism. But when you do remember, you want to make it up to them as much as possible. So.
Right. What's the sickest shit about being a cop, though?
I mean, the guns. Guns. Yeah.
Last question, Subin. What do you got?
Oh no, dude, that was awesome. I'm ready.
I got a question. So when you become a cop in California, you become post certified, right? Which means you can carry a gun anytime, all day.
Yeah.
When you travel, you can't. Can you carry it on the plane, or how does that?
I mean, there are components of that. If you become a federal air marshal, you can. But most of the time you declare it in your luggage. Anybody can. You don't have to be a cop to declare it. You can, if you legally own a gun, you can throw it in your luggage. You go up to the front counter and say, I'm on to declare a firearm. They open it up, they stick a little tag in there, and it goes to the airport with you.
But if you're driving, then you can carry all 50 states, pretty much?
Yeah, if you're legally allowed to carry, all 50 states now are part of the CCW recognition. So some states are constitutional carry, like Arizona. It's the weirdest thing. You pull up to a gas station and you see people strapped, exposed carry and stuff. Wow. Yeah.
That's America. Cool.
Yeah. I truly believe a lot less people will be victimized if potential criminals realize that there might be a potential response.
Yeah, it's common sense.
No, because they'll probably miss and shoot all the innocent people.
Most.
You should listen to AOC more.
Most people that own guns are very. They own guns. Some people they're collecting dust, but most people train with them.
Hell yeah.
And unfortunately, they train more than cops do.
Damn, that's pretty crazy.
So what's his chances, based on what you know about him now?
Well, look, in this day and age, we want people that are representative of the community. So I know before we started recording, you were concerned about your tattoos and your gauges and stuff like that. But look, if I'm looking at you, do you look like people that we encounter on the streets?
No.
No?
Yeah.
You do. You are representative of the community.
Wait. What kind of question was that? Hold on, one more time.
It was a hard.
Sorry. Yeah, it kind of confused me. Sorry, one more time.
You gotta clean it up.
For me, right? I have a shaved head. I'm dark and I have tattoos. If I wasn't in uniform, you wouldn't think twice about me, right?
He looks like a guy in SGV or Hawaii.
Right. Yeah. Right.
You look like a Hawaii guy.
Right.
And but if you throw a uniform on me and I'm exposed, right? Because before 2 years ago, I had to cover up my tattoos. And in 100-degree weather like this week, I had to wear long-sleeve wool uniforms. That sucked. 2 years ago, I could start exposing them, and I cannot tell you the level of openness that brought to people. People felt more relatable to you. They would come to me, and that was kind of the same parallel with being an Asian officer. I worked in El Monte in the San Gabriel Valley, was predominantly Chinese-speaking, even though I spoke Korean horribly. They would see my face and it would look familiar, and they would come to me. Or as opposed to a white officer or a Hispanic officer, they would just, it's cool, I got victimized, I don't need to talk to you. Or with me, they'd be open to asking questions and stuff. So we found that hiring people that are more relatable and representative of the community that we're serving, it does us a greater service to do that. So we want diversity. We don't want cookie cutter officers. You have a skill set that's unique to you that we would want to bring at an agency like ours, right?
He's a stunt bike rider.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, back in the day, we used to have a dirt bike squad in the riverbeds when we had a transient problem.
What? Dirt bike squad?
He wants the cop less and gain more.
Yeah. I mean, we have a new officer that doesn't work a lot of overtime because he makes money Twitch streaming.
No way.
You're gonna make it, dude. You're gonna fucking make it, Subi.
And he cuts hair. officers.
the whole department.
Yeah, officers.
He's been in TV shows too.
Mine's pretty easy, but thank you.
No, I got you. It takes a lot though.
What ethnicity are you?
Korean.
Korean.
Come on, Choe.
Well, I was gonna show him this and be like, what did you think of this?
Even if it was Korean, I couldn't read it. I'm horrible.
No, nobody can read that one.